Welcome back to our 3-part series on how to storytell Blood on the Clocktower. In the last video, we handled the setup. Now it's time to start putting your dastardly plans into action and for you to go bump in the night. Before the first night begins, take a moment to look over your grimoire. Make sure you've added the drunk reminder token next to the townsfolk you've chosen to be bladdered, if you have, and that your reminder tokens are in place for anyone who will be getting first night information and what that might be. For example, your fortune teller needs one red herring to act as a false positive amongst the players. You need to put a reminder token in there to remind you. Or you might have a washerwoman. This means you'll wake that player up on the first night and show them 2 players and tell them that one of them is a certain townsfolk. One of these players will be that role and one of them will not, and you can use these reminder tokens to keep track of which player is the right person that you're showing and who is wrong. Make sure your night order sheet for your selected script is set to the first night side. And if it helps, you can use these little pip tokens and place them next to each role to remind you which roles are in the bag and who needs waking up. You've got a lot to remember. Don't be afraid to use the pips. The pips are there to help, okay? Then it's time for the first night. While your players have their eyes closed, move around the circle, waking people up. Quick note about that. Most storytellers wake people up with 2 taps on the knee or the shoulder. It's best to decide before the game what method of waking up everyone's comfortable with. After all, we're all friends here. First of all, wake up your minions and show them this token. Then point at the demon, letting them know the higher power they are sworn to serve. Put them to sleep and wake up your demon and show them this token. Before pointing at all their minions, letting them know who their faithful underlings are. Finally, while the demon is still awake, show them the "these characters are not in play" tokens and show them the 3 demon bluffs. Once that's done, go through the rest of the characters featured on the first night side and give them their information. Remember to change the information you're giving if someone becomes drunk or poisoned. Drunkenness and poisoning is the heart and soul of what makes Blood on the Clocktower such an epic puzzle. Most of the time, you have no choice but to honour the players' choices, showing them true information when they ask for it, and facilitating their powers when they choose to activate them. However, it's possible that during the course of the game, some of the players might become drunk or poisoned, in which case, their ability malfunctions. In the case of characters that receive information, that means you should be giving them incorrect information, but use your discretion. If good is winning, you can give them plausible information to hurt their chances of using that information well or backing up another evil player's bluff. If evil is winning, you can give a poisoned player wildly implausible information to let the poisoned player know that something is up. How you as a storyteller use drunkenness and poisoning is the biggest weapon in your arsenal in ensuring that the game makes it all the way to the final day. Couple of gestures to communicate to your players before the game starts. Obviously, everything at night happens in silence. So here are some of the standard storyteller ways of communicating vital information. If a player's role involves them choosing another player, wait for them to point, then move over to that chosen player and also point at them, waiting for the awake player to nod confirmation. A nod means yes. A shake of the head means no. Communicate numbers with fingers, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Look, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but good to get everyone on the same page, leave us alone. When the player's action is over, bring your hand over your eyes to instruct them to close their eyes again. Remember, as the storyteller, you've got a lot of information to impart, especially on the first night, so take your time. Move around the circle even when you don't need to. Keep moving even when dealing with an awake player. Try to mask your footsteps as best you can. Take a moment in between waking up the last player and waking everyone else up. You don't want the last player to know for sure that they're the last player after all. Once the first night is over, for future night phases, flip your night order sheet to the other night side, because in future nights, monsters are going to start eating people. Hooray! When a player dies during the night, use one of these little plastic death shrouds that come with the game and pop it over their token to remind you that they are no more. they rest in peace. They've gone to meet their maker, and their maker is very cross with them. Remember, if a demon kills another player, that death takes place instantaneously. Mark that player is dead in your grimoire, and if they haven't already woken up that night, do not wake them up. They are dead, and dead people don't wake up at night. But also remember that death is not guaranteed. If the demon chooses someone who is protected by the monk, or picks the soldier who's safe from the demon, or even if they pick a player who's already dead just to confuse people, that means no one will die that night. It is not your job to ensure death happens. If the demon makes a bad choice, then they have to live with it. After the first night is over, wake everyone up. Inform them which player died in the night if someone did, how many players are still alive, and the day phase will begin. How do you run a day phase? Excellent question! And click right here if you want to know the answer. Good luck, storytellers.